Good morning. Welcome back again to the Child Maintenance and Child Custody live Facebook live webinar, whereby I try to engage with you and answer various questions in relation to child maintenance and child custody. If you have any questions relating to child custody and child maintenance, please feel free to pose it and I shall try my best to answer it for you. As I mentioned early on, and this is now the official start of this webinar, we will be introducing Zoom calls, not video Zoom calls, but voice Zoom calls. If you would like to engage with me live, you can do so by using the relevant Zoom link. You'll quickly have to register for it. It shouldn't take you more than 10 seconds to do so. Name, mobile number, and email address, and accept the terms and conditions. Basically, the terms and conditions relate to your voice will be appearing on the video, and it would obviously be shared, and people will be watching it and sorry listening to it in the future. And that's it basically, and you can engage with me. Obviously the paying part would be if you want to have a private consultation with me via Zoom. That is, you'll have to pay for that, or with any attorney or any professional. But by this platform, you can engage with me for 5 minutes or so, pose a question on child custody and child maintenance. I might ask you a few questions, you will respond to me, and then based upon that, we can resolve your question and we can move to the next person. That is obviously the new way, the new modern or more interactive way which we want to try to engage with you. And the usual way that's always been available is on Facebook Live, whereby you visit the Advocate Muhammad Abduroaf Facebook page and you pose a question there and I will engage with you. The challenge with that is that I sometimes find it difficult to deal with all those questions at the same time, or you will have a challenge in typing it and not be able to express yourself so well. And with a live oral discussion, I can pose about 10 questions and you can pose about, give me 10 answers in a period of most probably 3 minutes, whereby typing it and putting it onto the whiteboard might be a bit challenging and slow things down. So that's an option to look forward to. I'm excited about it for next week. We never done something like that before. It will be the first time whereby we're engaging people live. So you'll be able to chat to us live and the whole nation can hear, and future people watching this video in the future can actually listen to your answers and I'll be able to answer it much better for you. But let's move on, and I might just mention this again a bit later or towards the end of the video. Topic today, child custody and child maintenance, or did I get it right? Or vice versa. A big issue which I am coming across nowadays, and still going with the theme of toughing up, you must toughen up, sorry. You must start owning your case. And many people are coming to me, and it's concerning to me that the vast majority of problems which I am dealing with or trying to solve for my clients stems from the fact that my clients were actually allowed themselves to be bullied at the start of the process. Bully might be a bit of a hard word to use, a harsh word to use, but I'm referring to no one, so no one can take offense by that. In that they wanted to resolve this matter as quick as possible, their divorce, their maintenance matter, their child custody matter, as soon as possible, as quick as possible. They did not want to see the other party any longer, and they signed away whatever they wanted to sign, or they would do whatever application they pursued. The consequence of that was that this specific bullying or so-called narcissistic behavior from the other party, or whatever it is, this behavior nonetheless continued throughout not the relationship, but it continued until we are today. So if the father was taken to the maintenance court, and the process took so long because the mother's lawyer keeps on asking for additional documentation, delay matters, he has to take time off work, and he just agrees, yeah, I am going to pay what you want, let's come to an agreement, somewhere in the middle, but the mother is happy because she's getting what she wants. I'm referring to no one here, so no one should take offense. And then 6 months down the line, mother's back at the maintenance court, or she's making certain demands, and all that the father wanted was peace. And the opposite could possibly apply, whereby the father would like to apply for child contact, child custody, or the mother would like to apply for child custody and child contact, and so on. And the other party is making it very difficult for them. The other party is very energized, and one party just, succumbs, folds, thinking that this will be the end of the matter, thinking that we can live in peace and harmony going forward, but it doesn't happen. The other party was obviously of the view that, this person is a walkover, and this is how I'm going to deal with this person going forward. I'm going to play him or her, mental, blackmailing the person, emotional blackmail, and so forth. And this will be my strategy going forward. And please, I'm referring to no one, so do not take offense. This could be all fictitious also. But where I'm going to with this whole scenario is that people need to toughen up. And that's my theme. It will be my theme for the next few weeks. So, needs to toughen up. They need to take ownership of the case, and they should not be walked over. If the other party acts unreasonable, that is a moment where you have to put your foot down and deal with the specific problem, deal with the specific issue. Do not put your head down in a hole and hope that things will go away and things will get better in the future. It will not get better in the future. That is where I get a lot of my business from, is whereby people agree, they sign on certain things, but they now become fed up, and now they require legal advice. But they could have actually resolved this matter way in advance without legal advice, by just standing up for their rights and standing up for the kids. And I'm referring to men and female. Honestly, I get consultations from men, female. The problems are all out there. Now, moving on. Another view, or another theme which has come to my desk quite regularly for the last few weeks, and it came from both men and female, is that the courts have a preference for any specific gender. And I find it very interesting, because the males, when I consult with them, they'll tell me, my understanding of the law is that the law favors the mother, and the mother gets what she wants, and so on. And then when I consult on total different issues and different scenario with a mother, with a female, and then she tells me, the law basically maybe not favors the father, but assists the father, or make it possible for the father to get away with whatever he wants to. Then there will come scenarios, for example, the father pays no maintenance, but he has contact rights. So I've been practicing now for over 15 years. I'm going for 20 years of practicing family law and various other laws as well, to get obviously a general understanding of the law. And I cannot for the life of me say honestly that the law favors any parent. The facts of the matter decides the outcome. Yes, of course, there are some cases where I've done whereby decisions were not made which I was happy with, which my client was happy with, and it can be perceived that that specific case, that specific magistrate, that specific maintenance officer, that specific judge favored one parent on the other. But that's like on anything, work at work, a boss might have a certain preference. But to say that every magistrate, every court favors one party over the other, that I think is a bit unfair. Magistrates and judges are trained. They have a duty towards the law, a duty towards the constitution, a duty towards both you and the other party, and of course towards a minor child. And they have to make fair decisions. It might be perceived that they favor the other gender because you were unsuccessful. And it's possible it could have happened, as I mentioned earlier, in your case, that the magistrate did favor one party over the other. But my experiences over the years are that, the playing fields are equal. If you look through all the fluff, through all the clouds, through all the smoke, the issue basically is what is best for the child. And you need to present it very, very well. Of course, if the child is very young, extremely young, and cannot be cared for by anyone other than the mother, of course there will be a preference, and there should be a preference that a child be cared for by the mother. A child can't be brought into this world a bundle of joy, and a party stands up and say, I'm the father, I would like to be the primary caregiver of my child. The mother just gave birth a few weeks ago, but I now want to care for the child because we've broken up and we argued. No! The child is still being breastfed. The child needs to be with the mother. So an argument can be made where that is concerned. That under those circumstances, it's best for the minor child to be with the mother. But however, another scenario, another case can be created whereby it can be argued that if the mother could not care for the minor child since birth, she was unable to do so, she gave birth, a few days later she went away and she went to, do whatever she had to go do, either work or social or abandonment, whatever the case may be. And then, of course, a strong case can be made that the father should be the primary caregiver despite him being a male. It all depends on the circumstances of the case, but we need to look at matters the way they are. And obviously, we have to go beyond that. We need to think rationally and logically, and what is in the best interest of the minor child. If a child is a boy, he or she needs a very strong. He needs a strong father figure in his or her life. And it's possible to argue under those circumstances that the child must go with a dad, or a daughter must go with a mom. There are so many variables to look at in making a decision as to what is best for the minor children. And it all depends upon how you convince a court, how you convince a magistrate, how you present your information and your facts. The magistrate and the judge are human beings. They know the law, they should do their job. They're not here to fraud anybody. No magistrate, I can presume, wakes up in the morning and say, my duty as a magistrate is to only support the rights of the mother and forget about the father. Or he, in his textbook, has a list where he says contact rights should only be given to a mother, custody, primary care of a minor child should only be afforded to the mother, and these are my lists when it should take place. So he sticks to it. He or she sticks to it. That means that the magistrate should not even look at the file, not even listen to the parties, because mom, child is 2 years old, custody, dad, we don't care about you. That is not how it works. There might be a few cases where that applied, but there are hundreds of magistrates courts in South Africa, and I would imagine maybe a few thousand magistrates around. I doubt that is the way they deal with these type of matters. So I hope that specifically deals with that specific issue. And when clients do consult them in the future, I hope that you have watched this video and we can move forward from there. Another issue, while we're waiting for someone to post questions, I have noticed that you need to get the right time when a person streams on Facebook. If you stream too early, people might not expect you to be online, or they might be busy with something, or you stream a bit too late, the same thing applies. Or sometimes you stream at a random time and all of a sudden there's like dozens of people online watching you and they're posing questions. But the idea of these videos are to educate you, and if you do not have any questions and you're watching these videos, it might be that all my previous videos have assisted you. Please note, and I'll mention it again a bit later on, I mentioned it earlier on, from next week onwards we will be allowing calls while we are busy with this live webinar. So basically what will happen is you will call in, I will look at my Zoom screen, I will screen it first just to confirm that it's not some type of spam or whatever the case may be, and then you will obviously be watching me. I'll allow you into the room via Zoom, and then I will just click on you and then say good day, whatever your name is, thank you for joining us, please pose your question, and that's it. And then once we are done engaging, you can either remain on the screen or on the Zoom video, and I will allow for the next person. It will be a very good way of engaging, and it might be a manner of application whereby you do not have to meet with an attorney or an advocate or a lawyer or pay money to consult with them. You can do it online. Moving on, another problem which I've been experiencing since late is that parents or parties are unable to agree on certain important aspects in relation to minor children. And I consulted with somebody yesterday regarding that, and every week I think I consult with somebody regarding this. I think on our live videos as well, we would have seen that many people pose that question where the parties cannot come to an agreement regarding important aspects of a minor child. I'm pausing over there. Think about it. Both parents are guardians. They both have parental rights and responsibilities. They are the child's flesh and blood. The child came from them. Who else? The child is no other set of parents, only mom and dad. But when it comes to decisions regarding the minor child, what happens? The parties cannot agree on certain important decisions in relation to the minor child. Important decisions, I would say, refers to things like, what school the minor child to go to. Should the minor child do this specific subject? Should the minor child be allowed to travel with one parent out of the country to a different province on a holiday? But it concerns me that a party would be angry and say, the other party does not want to agree upon this. But my issue is, why can't the parties come to that type of agreement? They had a child together. I'm certain at some point they were in love with each other. And now all of a sudden, when it comes to important decisions, like the schooling of a minor child, the parties cannot come to an agreement regarding that. So that is something which concerns me and something which I obviously want people to look into and to work with. If you cannot come to an agreement regarding an important aspect of a minor child's life, clearly both of you need to go to parenting counseling, co-parenting counseling. You need to work on this issue. Something like a school, you guys need to agree upon it. The same way when people wake up in the morning and it's a Sunday morning and they decide what are we going to go do for the day. Either we're going to go for a walk outside, or we go for a drive to the beach, we're going to a shopping mall, whatever the case may be. There won't be arguments the entire morning as to what we're going to do. People will compromise. And the end of the day is we are going to go to the shopping mall or to the beach or stay at home or watch a movie, whatever the case may be. But there will be consensus. Why can't there be consensus in relation to what is best for the minor child? That I fail to see. Everyone, thank you very much for joining this webinar. I do not see any live questions. I hope you benefited from this. Please remember, next week we will be dealing with Zoom. Please install Zoom on your phone, on your device, so that you can engage with me. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to engage with you live. Otherwise, please post your questions. Please message it to me on the Advocate Mohammed Abduroaf Facebook page. I think you can see it just on top over there. Post questions on Advocate Mohammed Abduroaf Facebook page. You can post it live or you can message us. But please message and say for our next webinar. Or the word webinar must be somewhere in there so we know we can copy and paste that. Have a lovely weekend. Be safe and I shall see you next week. Thank you.